Hi, this is Ray from Jet Classroom, and we're going over this was actually the second video, the first video after theory, and our objective is to learn how to solve the cross on the Rubik's Cube. So there goes your objective. Your goal is to solve that cross, and not only are you solving so when I say the cross, so that's the white cross that's on top, so you're going to solve the white cross. And what you also want is for each window on the side of the cube, there's going to be a matching upstairs neighbor that needs to have the same color. So if you have a red window there, you want to have a red upstairs neighbor and then a white cross. Blue, if you're looking at a blue window, you're going to have a blue upstairs window and a white cross. All right. So in solving the cross, we're looking at it's a pretty everything in the Rubik's Cube is pretty straightforward once you break it down. So we're going to have orient the cube so the roof is on top. The roof is the white side, okay? And that's the way I learned to solve it. So that's the way I'm going to teach you. So the white side is on top, and you know the roof is on top when the white centerpiece, the white window, is on top. All right? And so the white roof is on top, and then what we want to do is for each side, you pick a side that you want to solve. So in this case, I'll pick red. So the red side is the side I want to solve first. All right. So for each side that I want to solve, I want to find the white and red edge piece. So the edge pieces are the ones you can pinch. I want to find the white and red edge piece and rotate it right below the red window. All right, so I want to look all around my cube and find the right and red edge piece. And this sometimes is a little tricky for kids because they don't necessarily have a really well developed attention span or focus, but they will find it. So sometimes they'll complain and say, "Oh, I can't find it, I can't find it, I can't find it." You just make them keep looking because everything that you ask them to find is on the cube. So coincidentally, and what I would have them do, you don't want to have them just because the first thing they want to do is just turn the cube all over the place and try to find it. Well, once they do that, they get confused. They forget which way's up, they forget where's the roof and where's the basement, and the whole cube gets disoriented and becomes harder for them. So what I try to get them to do is to move the cube. If they have to move it above their head, if they want to look at the bottom, I try to get them to move it above their head so they can find those pieces on the bottom. So I say, find the red and white edge piece. In this case, the red and white edge piece is on the bottom of the cube. And what you want to do is get that red and white edge piece in the merry-go-round, all right, which is in the basement. So let's pretend that it was right here on the side. What I want them to do is rotate it down so that it's in the merry-go-round in the basement. Remember, this is the roof. This is the basement at the bottom. So you want them to rotate it so that it's in the basement, all right? And then spin it on the merry-go-round until that red and white edge piece lives right below the red window, all right? So you want to spin it on the merry-go-round. If I want to do that multiple times, I'm looking at the bottom. Remember, this is the top. I'm looking at the bottom. I'm going to spin it on the merry-go-round. There it is right there. I'm going to spin it around just for fun until I find that red and white edge piece. So we've got the red window, and we're looking for the red and white edge piece, and it's right below the red window, all right? Once it's in this position, I'm going to flip it to the top, all right? So I flip it to the top, and then look, I've got a white centerpiece on my roof and a white and red edge piece, and it lives right above the red window, which is exactly what we want. Bingo. All right, so that's perfect. And that's a little segment. If we look right here at our objective, move this up. That's a little segment of our objective right there. So this is the part that we have done. White, white, red, red. That's done. And if we look at the Rubik's Cube, we've got white, white, red, red. All right, now let's work on the blue window and getting that piece to match up. So what's the first thing we're going to look for? Over here, when we were working on the red window, we were looking for the red and white edge piece. Now that we're working on the blue window, we're going to look for the blue and white edge piece. Okay? So let's look all around the cube and look for the blue and white edge piece. Coincidentally, It's already right below where it needs to go. That makes it really easy for us. We just take this, since it's already underneath the red, since it's already underneath the blue window, so the blue and white edge piece is living under the blue window, all we need to do now is just flip that to the top, all right? And now it's in the right position. So now we have, move this out of the way. So now we have, it basically looks just like the picture, okay? So we have, let me orient that correctly. We have white, white, red, red, white, white, blue, blue. And then when we look at the cube, we've got white, white, red, red, white, white, blue, blue, which is perfect, okay? Now, that was really easy because the white, I just rotated it. That's all I did. So I just rotated the red and the blue and white edge piece. I'm just rotating it back to the bottom. And I'm just kind of go over this example because that was so easy because this was already here. We're not always that fortunate. Sometimes the blue and white edge piece, let's say it'll be over here. Okay, so I'm undoing what I just did and we're going to revisit that little solve right here, but I'm going to make it a little bit more difficult. Sometimes the blue and white edge piece is right here. So the kids are looking around the cube. They're looking for the blue and white edge piece. They find it, all right? And what do you need to do with the blue and white edge piece? The first thing you need to do is get it down to the basement, which is right down here. The basement is down in this level, in the bottom floor. So you want to rotate that blue and white edge piece, get it in the basement, all right? It's in the basement now, all right? And then you spin it on the merry-go-round. Remember, in the basement, there's a merry-go-round. You spin it on the merry-go-round, and when it's in the right position under the blue window, so we've got a blue and white edge piece under the blue window, then you flip it back up to the top, all right? And you basically have the same two legs of the cross solved already, all right? So let's go look at the third leg of the cross. I'm going to make it a little bit more difficult because I saw that I could solve that pretty easily. The third leg of the cross, we're going to solve the orange window, okay? So we want the orange side of the cross right here. So when this is solved, this is going to be white, white, orange, orange. Remember, we're building this cross here on top, all right? So we're going to want all these need to be white and all these need to be white with matching colors like this on the side, all right? So if I'm looking for the orange to solve the orange side and I want the orange cross, an orange and white cross, excuse me. I'm going to want to find what colors right here. This one's going to need to be white and this one's going to need to be orange. So I'm looking for the white and orange edge piece. So what do I need to do? Really simple. I look all around the cube and I'm looking for a white and orange edge piece. And I try to get the kids to be very methodical about it. There are only 4 places on the cube that this thing can be. One's right here, right here, right here, right here. No, it's 8 places on the cube. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they'll look, sometimes they have a lot of trouble focusing. And again, you just have to make them be patient. Try to teach them to be methodical and be patient and take a deep breath. Because remember, they don't have really long attention spans and they all have a little ADD. So this can be a little challenging for 5 and 6-year-olds, but it's good training to get them to be patient. So we're looking for the white and orange edge piece, and that's the piece that you can pinch. And you look all the way around the cube, and look, it's right there, the white and orange edge piece. So it's right there. And where do I want it? I want it down here. Okay, I want it down here in the basement below the orange window. All right, so the white and orange edge piece is here. What am I going to do? I find it, yay rah. Now I'm going to flip it down to the basement. So I turn it down into the basement. In the basement, there's a merry-go-round. Remember, there's a merry-go-round in the basement where you can spin stuff. And that's the beautiful thing about the basement. There's a merry-go-round there. And in the basement, you put your orange and white edge piece on the merry-go-round. You spin it so that it's under the orange window. And now what are you going to do? You're going to flip that to the top. Okay, so same process we go through. Now, the funny thing happens with this one. When you flip this to the top this time, this you don't have white, white, orange, orange. You have white, orange, white, orange. So this is reversed. Okay? This is reversed. What I'm going to do right now, there's another algorithm that, and this is called a corner case, right? When it just slid in perfectly like that, it worked perfectly fine. There was no problems. When you spin it up and it's reversed, that's what we, in software or engineering in general, we call that a corner case. And a corner case is some sort of an exception, and there's something extra that you have to do to fix it. So for instance, a corner case would be if someone is entering their username and password and they enter a bad password, the exception that you need to code for in software is to check to make sure that the password is correct. And if the password is incorrect, you tell the user, hey, you've got to enter the right password. That's the corner case. That's the exception. That's an extra something you need to check for. So in Rubik's Cube land, we were solving for a white, white, orange, orange piece, and we have an exceptional case in that we go through all the right steps, but this is in reverse. So what do? We go, there's a separate algorithm that I have here that I can run this algorithm here to solve for that. And you can find these instructions in the JET Classroom written documentation. So for this case, right, and in this case in the booklet, I've got a blue and white that's reversed. Okay, instead of the orange and white, I have the blue and white, but the algorithm works the same way. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my algorithm and I'm going to run fo, u, lo, yo. All right, those are the turns I'm going to make. Fo, u, lo, yo. All right, so I see that, and I'm going to run fo, u, lo, yo. And if you notice, bam, that's in the right order again, okay? And even if I run it again, if I say fo, u, lo, yo again, fo, u, lo, yo, if I run that again, it's going to flip this again in the opposite direction. So it's going to flip it so that it's reversed, and it is white, orange, white, orange again. All right, so let's try that so I can prove to you that works. Fo, u, lo, yo. All right, and look at that, it's flipped. Okay, it's flipped. That's not what we want, so we run this algorithm again. Fo, u, lo, yo. Fo, u, lo, yo, and it's flipped, and it's perfectly correct right there. Okay. All right, so we've got 3 of the pieces solved. I'm going to get this out of the way for you. We have 3 of the pieces solved here. We've got 1 more left. What color do we need to solve that's left? It's the green side. So right here, we need a white and green piece. So what do you need to do? The first thing you need to do is find the white and green edge piece. Remember, the edge pieces need to be pinched. So you're going to find the white and green edge piece, all right? So I'm looking all over the cube, and the kids are going to look all over the cube, and they're looking for a white and green edge piece. Where could it be? Where could it be? Oh, look at that. It's right there, a white and green edge piece. It's over here, but we need it under here, right? We need it to move it down to the merry-go-round and into the basement someplace. Spin it on the merry-go-round and make the merry-go-round stop it so that the green and white edge piece is right underneath the green window. All right, so I've got the green and white edge piece here. The first thing I'm going to do, move it down to the basement. Okay, turn it so it's down to the basement. It's in the basement now. All right, this is my roof, this is my middle layer, this is my basement, and in the basement there's a merry-go-round, and you can turn pieces on the merry-go-round, which is wonderful. It's a magical merry-go-round. And I sit my green and white edge piece on that merry-go-round, and I spin it around on the merry-go-round, and I put it right underneath the green window. All right, so here's my top, there's my green window, and I spin that edge piece up. All right, and now I've got 3 pieces. Somehow I managed to put that out of order. I probably made an extra turn here on the blue side, and I'm just going to turn this blue side up so that they all match. All right, get this out of the way so it looks nice and pretty for you guys. And look, So now we have the white cross with all of the upstairs windows neighbors matchings. All right. So white cross, green, orange window, orange upstairs neighbor with a white hair. Sometimes I tell them that this is the face and this is the hair. Okay. White cross again, green window, green upstairs neighbor with white hair. All right. Same thing for the red side. And we have solved the cross. All right. We've completely solved the cross. You may need to look over this a couple of times to get it. Don't be afraid. It does not mean you're stupid. It is a little bit confusing. You need to look over it. You may need to rewind it a couple of times. Let's say 3 or 4 times. Rewind it. Look at it again. Look at it over and over again. And make sure you understand this before you move on. Something else I tell the kids that's helpful when they're orienting the cube, okay? And let's say they're trying to find a green and white, the green and white edge piece, right? So they find the green and white edge piece, and what I tell them is to line, if they're looking to spin this green side up, because kids there, they do all sorts of stuff. They spin it over here, they spin it over on this side. They do things that make it difficult to solve the cube. So I try to give them little things to remember. So I'll say, hey, make sure this green piece is facing your belly button when you're turning it, because I want them to turn it like this rather than turning it like this, because then it just gets confusing. So particularly in the beginning, I want them to keep everything very organized and systematic. So I try to remind them, say, hey, try to pretend like there's a line between this green window here and your belly button so that they can orient it right in front of them and then turn this upwards. Otherwise, it gets confusing for them because they turn the cube every which way. So that's it. Again, if you need to look over this again and again, please rewind it, look at it again, look at the directions again, try to make those connections between what I'm saying in the video and what the directions say. They really go hand in hand to help you understand the process. Every individual part is pretty simple. It does take time to practice. I think with kids, it may take 2 or 3 days to get every section down. So you show it to them and then you go over it over and over again over a period of 2 or 3 days, and they'll get it down over 2 or 3 days. Okay, that's it for this section. The next section we'll learn how to fill in the corners of the Rubik's Cube. So the next section, just so you know,